Today on Public Eye News, a man has been federally charged for fraud, an update on the flooded dam in Sheboygan, and a moose research team completes the season's collaring efforts.
Coming up, Evelyn Roser will give you your weather forecast. We'll take a look at conditions for today and days to come, and later JT Tamog will bring you your sports breakdown. I'm Emily Goodacre.
I'm Dylan Dubé, and this is Public Eye News. A West Bloomfield man is facing federal charges in connection with an alleged multi-million-dollar COVID-19 relief fraud scheme. Authorities say 40-year-old Randon Romero Williams was arrested and charged with wire fraud and money laundering after allegedly submitting more than $5 million in fraudulent Paycheck Protection Program loan applications between April 2020 and March 2021. Investigators claim the applications used fabricated or exaggerated business information, including inflated payrolls and employee counts, supported by falsified tax documents. Federal officials say the case is part of a broader effort to crack down on misuse of pandemic relief funds, as prosecutors emphasize that the charges remain allegations while the investigation continues and has no determination of guilt. And officials are working to prevent potential flooding at the Sheboygan Lock and Dam, as rising water levels and incoming rain continue to strain the system. Crews with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources have activated fire pumps to help divert water, with additional pumps being secured as water levels climb to within 15 inches of the top of the dam. All gates are fully open, and officials are exploring options to restart a hydroelectric station to increase water flow capacity. Governor Gretchen Whitmer has declared a state of emergency, while emergency crews have placed thousands of sandbags and removed barriers to improve water movement. Residents are being urged to stay alert and follow preparedness guidance as conditions continue to develop.
In the deep snow of Michigan's Upper Peninsula, a research team at NMU has finished another winter of tracking moose. A biology professor and some of her students captured and collared moose, mostly from the western UP. There's an estimate of 300 moose in the state of Michigan, a major decrease from the 426 in 2023. The annual collaring project focuses on understanding why the region's moose population continues to struggle. This winter, scientists captured and fitted GPS collars on dozens of moose to monitor where they go and how they're doing. With the efforts from last year and the 41 new moose from this year, the team has now deployed 56 collars. The team hopes the information will lead to better ways to support the state's moose population. And a team of students at Michigan Tech University is helping advance NASA-funded research aimed at improving how astronauts move in space. The project comes from the university's Engineering Senior Design program, where students work on real-world problems with industry and research partners. This team developed a prototype designed to simulate reduced gravity movement. Their work connects directly to ongoing research in the robotics, locomotion, and applied control lab. Faculty and researchers say this system will help collect data on mobility and physical strain in the lunar conditions. The prototype is now being used to support continued testing and future design improvements in the lab. Researchers say it will help refine models that could improve astronaut safety and performance on future missions. And in a social media post this morning, President Trump warned Iran that any of its ships that come near the U.S. blockade will be eliminated. Starting today, the U.S. Navy is under orders to stop all the ships that do business with Iran from passing through the Strait of Hormuz. It comes after talks this weekend failed to reach a deal, but CBS News has learned that Pakistan is pushing to get the U.S. and Iran to resume negotiations in an effort to get a peace accord before the current ceasefire runs out next week. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
President Trump is downplaying the lack of a breakthrough with Iran this weekend.
I don't care if they come back or not. If they don't come back, I'm fine.
But did announce a blockade on Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz starting today.
Iran will not be able to sell oil, and that will be very effective.
The development comes after more than 20 hours of negotiations in Pakistan this weekend, led by Vice President J.D. Vance, ended without a deal.
We just could not get to a situation where the Iranians were willing to accept our terms.
CBS News learned the key sticking points included U.S. demands that Iran stop enriching and storing uranium, a key material for building a nuclear weapon, and funding for terrorist proxies, including Hamas and Hezbollah, and fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz without charging tolls. Iran's parliament speaker, one of the top negotiators, warned with a U.S. military blockade, fuel prices will skyrocket, writing on social media, soon you'll be nostalgic for $4 to $5 gas. Iran has threatened to retaliate. President Trump is warning on social media if any Iranian fast attack ships come anywhere close to the blockade, they will be eliminated.
U.S. naval personnel and assets will be in more direct range of Iranian mines, drones, and more in and around the Strait of Hormuz, so we could see more casualties.
In a new CBS News poll, nearly 70% of those surveyed said they were worried about the U.S.-Iran conflict, and more than half said gas prices have been a financial hardship. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Now don't touch that dial. Our very own Evelyn Rozier will have your weather forecast after this break.
I know you understand everything. You're just not gonna tell.
Para mí no son caballos, son mis compañeros.
Backside, the unseen hands of horse racing on PBS and the PBS app.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Evelyn Rozier here with your Monday weather report. Starting off on our campus roof cam, you can see the grass is starting to turn green. I'm really excited for that. Next, we'll want blue skies. And looking across the map of the entire UP, it is pretty cloudy conditions throughout, but it's also pretty warm temperatures, which will take it. In Houghton, it is 47 degrees, and cloudy. Ironwood is also 47 degrees. In Iron Mountain, it is 60 degrees. In Menominee, the only place with sun, which I'm jealous of, is 58 degrees. Moving to the other side of the map, Escanaba, it is 52 degrees, continuing with the clouds. Manistee is 51 degrees, and Sault Ste. Marie is 41 degrees. In Marquette, it is 43 degrees with a lot of fog out there. And the winds in Marquette are coming from the northeast at 5 miles an hour. The barometric pressure is 29.88 inches and rising. Looking towards tonight, there are going to be some more light showers with a low of 37 degrees and the winds coming from the east at 5 miles an hour. The moon phase is a waning crescent. Tomorrow, it's going to be mostly cloudy again, which is a bummer, but it will be 48 degrees with a low of 35, and the winds coming from the north at only a nice 5 mile an hour again. And later this week, the temperatures are looking good, and the sun's coming back out, which is awesome. On Wednesday, there's a high of 45 and a low of 37. On Thursday, a high of 48 and a low of 38 with some more clouds. And Friday, super nice day. 57 degrees with a low of 42 and some sun. Make sure to get outside. That's all I have for weather. Now back to your desk.
Thank you for that report, Evelyn. The clouds may be gray and the sky may still be gloomy, but at least it's starting to warm up a little bit. Jumping into some of our statewide news. As part of STI Awareness Week, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services is encouraging residents to take charge of their sexual health by getting tested regularly, with a particular focus on rising syphilis cases. Preliminary data show symptomatic and infectious syphilis rates in Michigan have increased by 50% over the past decade, with concerning growth among both heterosexual populations and pregnant women. Health officials warn that untreated syphilis can lead to serious complications, including risks to unborn children, as congenital cases reach their highest levels in more than 30 years. Testing and treatment are widely available at low or no cost, and experts stress that early detection, routine screening, and open communication with providers are key to reversing current trends and protecting community health. And as National Work Zone Awareness Week approaches, Michigan officials are urging drivers to stay alert as new data highlights ongoing dangers in construction zones. In 2025, 25 people were killed in work zone incidents, including 22 motorists and 3 workers, with roughly 6,000 crashes reported statewide. The numbers remain largely unchanged from the previous year, reinforcing the need for greater precaution behind the wheel. This year's theme, Safe Actions Save Lives, emphasizes shared responsibility among drivers, workers, and road agencies. More than 1,000 injuries were also reported last year as safety leaders prepared to gather in Midland to discuss improvements, innovations, and strategies aimed at reducing risks and preventing future tragedies on Michigan roadways. And Pope Leo is visiting Africa today and pushing back against President Trump's public attack against him over the weekend. CBS's Tina Kraus has more on the rare clash between the White House and the Vatican.
Pope Leo opened a 10-day trip to Africa Monday with a familiar message to the faithful.
Let us remember that God desires peace for every nation.
The appeal came a day after President Trump slammed the Pope's stance against the war in Iran and U.S. immigration policy.
We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person.
The American-born pontiff responded.
I don't want to get into a debate with him.
Saying he has no fear of the Trump administration and will keep promoting peace.
Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed.
President Trump posted a long message on social media Sunday calling Pope Leo terrible for foreign policy and suggesting he was only elected because the Vatican thought it would be the best way to deal with Trump in office. The president then posted this AI-generated photo depicting him as Jesus, prompting outrage online, even from some supporters who urged him to take it down. Pope Leo Monday called the name of the president's social media platform, Truth Social, ironic, and said Trump doesn't understand the message of the gospel. The pontiff has strongly criticized the treatment of migrants under Trump, labeling it as inhuman. And he's been a staunch critic of the Iran war, calling Trump's threat to destroy Iranian civilization unacceptable. He has urged the president to find an off-ramp to end the conflict. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Don't go anywhere. JT will be right back with your sports breakdown after this short break.
We're here in Washington to find out what comes next.
Donald Trump won re-election, promising to reduce illegal immigration.
The Republicans will have a majority.
Will that really solve America's migrant crisis?
Not only at home, but around the world.
They're preparing for what might be coming.
Our correspondents give you the full story.
We're now hearing several explosions after an evacuation warning.
For a global perspective, join us on BBC World News America.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm JT DeMog, here to bring you today's sports action. Starting it off on the Diamond, where the Detroit Tigers completed a 3-game sweep over the Miami Marlins. Sunday's game was a duel of Cy Young winners between Sandy Alcantara for Miami and Tarek Skubal for Detroit. The Tigers were swinging a hot stick in this one, hitting 3 home runs. Dylan Dingler got it started in the first to give the Tigers an early 3-0 lead. One of Detroit's top prospects in Kevin McGonigal finally got the monkey off his back, launching his first career home run deep into the right field bleachers to extend the lead in the 5th. An inning later, Kerry Carpenter drove one out to right, putting the Tigers up 6-0. Tarek Skubal allowed 1 run on 2 hits and 7 strikeouts, earning the win in an 8-2 victory. And now moving over to the field, where the Northern Michigan University women's lacrosse team lost a heartbreaker on senior night to the Grand Valley State Lakers 9-8. The Cats walked into this game 10-4, sitting in second place in the GLIAC. Northern found themselves down 6-3 at the half, but a 5-goal third gave them an 8-6 lead. Grand Valley then tacked on 3 unanswered to retake the lead. NMU would then tie the game with just over 2 minutes to play until the officials waved off the goal, citing dangerous contact. This would prove costly, and the Cats could not recover. Despite the loss, junior Josie Lukowski cemented her name in the Wildcat history books, breaking the single-season goal-scoring record with her 73rd goal of the season in the second quarter. And now ending it on the links, where the Northern Michigan University men's and women's golf teams are set to tee off at the GLIAC Spring Championship. The men will start things off on Thursday and will play 2 rounds. After the initial 2 rounds, the top 4 teams advance to the semifinal round on Friday evening, where the top 2 teams will advance and tee off Saturday to determine a champion. Last time the Cats teed off was at the UIU Invite, where the men placed 7th of 12 teams, shooting +34 as a group. Jacob Davatilla and Arthur Yelito finished tied for 6th with matching scores of 6 over. The women will get things started on Friday following the same format as the men, and at the UIU, the Cats placed 4th overall with Abby Piella and Maddie Martins tied for 3rd place. That's all I have for sports. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, JT, for that sports breakdown. I'm excited for golf season coming up here.
Yeah, it's nice to see the golf teams getting back in action. They've been really improving over the offseason. It's really nice to see them get back there. Anyways, that's all the time we have for Public Eye News. I have been Dylan Dubé.
And I'm Emily Goodacre.
And we'll catch you next time.
Produced by WNMU TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.